What happened to Reagan Tokes? Reagan Tokes was born on March 13, 1995 to parents Toby Tokes and Lisa McCrary Tokes. May isang kapatid na babae si Reagan named Mackenzie. And Reagan graduated from Anthony Wayne High School where she had a 4.5 GPA and she also played on the varsity lacrosse and tennis teams. So Reagan was an intelligent girl. Yung year na nagsimula ng college si Reagan, yung parents niya at yung sister niya na si Mackenzie ay nag-moved sa Florida. And si Reagan, nagstay siya sa Ohio and she began attending the Ohio State University where she wanted to go ever since she was a child. Katulad ng maraming kabataan ngayon, elementary or high school pa lang, meron na talagang pangarap na pasukang university or school pag nag-college sila. Very typical, kumbaga. Lalo na sa isang katulad ni Reagan na napakatalinong bata. So originally, ang major ni Reagan ay pre-med. But she changed her major to psychology. She planned on graduating in May 2017 and she wanted to move to Cleveland because she hoped na makapagtrabaho siya sa Cleveland Clinic. She also planned to attend graduate school and get another degree in psychology or psychiatry and open her own psychology practice. Days before Reagan's murder, she posted on social media about picking out a frame for her diploma. Kasi sobrang excited si Reagan na makagraduate. While Reagan was studying, she's also working sa Bodega, a restaurant and bar in Columbus Short North neighborhood. Reagan was 21 years old and she vanished after leaving work at Bodega Bar and Restaurant on the evening of February 8, 2017. So nag-alala yung pamilya ni Reagan and they circulated missing posts on social media. After that, a coroner confirmed that a body found shot in a nearby park was Reagan. The suspect is Brian Goldsby. And nung gabing yun, February 8, Brian spent the whole evening roaming around Columbus looking for a victim. GPS data shows na he walked around the Ohio State University campus and to the North High Street where he got on a Kota bus and traveled to the downtown. And then he spent around 1 hour walking in circles near Bodega where Reagan was working. At around 9:45 ng gabi, Reagan had left Bodega after ng kanyang shift sa trabaho. And habang naglalakad siya papunta sa sasakyan niya, nakasalubong niya itong si Brian Goldsby and Brian abducted her. Ang sabi ng mga pulis, Brian forced Reagan to a Chase Bank on South High Street to withdraw some money. And for an unknown reasons, siguro hindi sila nakakuha dun ng pera or baka nag-malfunction yung machine, they drove around Columbus, attempting to visit a different ATM before returning again doon sa Chase Bank, and Brian forced Reagan to withdraw $60. Ang sabi ng mga pulis, Reagan was assaulted by Brian after visiting the ATM. The time and the location of the assault is unknown. By 11:55 p.m., Reagan's car had traveled to Scioto Grove Metro Park. Her car was there for up to 10 minutes, and the police believed that Reagan was killed at the Scioto Grove Metro Park. This was the location where Reagan's body was found in the morning hours of February 9, 2017. Reagan was shot 2 times to the head. May upos ng sigarilyo na nakita doon sa kotse ni Reagan. Of course, yung mga investigator nakakuha ng DNA doon sa cigarette butt na yon that led them to Brian Goldsby. And noong February 10, 2015, in-announce ng mga police that they will seek the death penalty. So, sino ba itong Brian Goldsby na to? So, si Brian Goldsby is a registered ex-offender, and prior to kidnapping and killing Reagan, kalalabas lang niya ng kulungan kung saan nakulong siya for 6 years for robbery and attempted rape charges in 2011. Ang sabi ni Brian, abusive daw yung kanyang nanay and was affected by illegal substance and alcohol abuse. And Brian daw started committing crimes as a juvenile. Bata pa siya. Gumagawa na talaga siya ng mga kalokohan, kumbaga. Yung mga crimes na kinumit ni Brian was criminal trespassing, receiving stolen property, theft or pagnanakaw, shoplifting, criminal damaging, and threatening his mother with a knife. According to a juvenile offender assessment filed by the Ohio Department of Youth Services, gumawa din ng kasamaan si Brian sa isang 5-year-old na babae at 6-year-old na lalaki, and member siya ng Crips gang during his youth. And habang nasa kulungan itong si Brian Goldsby, he committed 52 infractions, including possessing contraband, mga kontrabando, kung ano yung mga bawal sa loob ng kulungan, maybe cellphone, or kung ano-ano pa. He refused to obey orders. He also did stealing, fighting, and creating disturbances. Napaka-problematic ng behavior ng taong to. That he was moved to new prisons several times. Actually, yung 6 years niya na pagkakakulong ay na-spend niya sa 5 iba't ibang kulungan dahil pinalipat-lipat nga siya dahil sa katigasan ng ulo niya. And he was released on November 13, 2016, and he had to register as a Tier 3 offender. Pagkatapos makalabas ng kulungan ni Brian Goldsby, binigyan siya ng GPS tracking device by a re-entry program for ex-offenders called Alvis. Pero yung Alvis, hindi nila actively minomonitor si Brian. Hindi ko alam kung ano yung point ng pagbibigay ng GPS tracking device sa isang offender na kalalaya lang kung hindi din naman pala i-monitor. Because of his criminal history and his history of violence while in prison, Brian Goldsby could not be placed in Alvis's re-entry program. So he was placed at a temporary housing center that was run by the Exit program. Katulad ng Alvis, officials working for the Exit program did not monitor Brian Goldsby. They allowed him to come and go as he wanted and did not check his whereabouts. Mind you, madlang people. Tier 3, ex-offender. Itong si Brian Goldsby. Napakahaba ng kanyang criminal history kumbaga. Bakit hindi siya minonitor ng mga authorities? Ang limitation lang na binigay sa kanya doon sa housing center, kailangan niyang makauwi or kailangan nasa housing center na siya between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. Ang sabi ng founder ng exit program, Brian Goldsby had a pass na umalis ng housing center during what Brian claimed were his work hours. But the truth is, wala talaga siyang trabaho. Kahit yung parole officer ni Brian, hindi rin siya minomonitor. And sa pagkakaalam ko, ang mga ex-con, especially sa case nitong Brian Goldsby, kailangan minomonitor ng isang parole officer. Brian Goldsby violated his parole several times and committed 6 robberies without being sent to jail or prison. Ang mga parole violations niya included letting the battery of his GPS bracelet die, malubat, kumbaga. He also spent several nights away from the exit program's housing center na kinukonsider nilang quote-unquote not severe daw, and they didn't give him any immediate sanctions. After ng pangatlong violation niya, a hearing which have resulted in him being sent back to prison was scheduled on February 23. Ilang weeks bago niya kinumit yung murder ni Reagan Tokes. The robberies Brian Goldsby committed included robbing a woman of $3 at knife point. This was January 24. On January 27, he robbed a woman for some gift cards. And itong crime na to ay nangyari while Brian was under overnight curfew doon sa exit program housing center. On February 1st, he robbed a man taking $20. On February 2, he abducted a man and forced him to drive to an ATM at gunpoint and kinuhanan niya ng $500. And on February 6, he pistol whipped a woman and dinakawan niya ng $38. Again, this crime occurred while Brian Goldsby was under overnight curfew sa exit program housing center. And on February 7, 2017, he robbed a woman taking her purse and bag. Again, this crime ay nangyari while Brian Goldsby was under overnight curfew. Pero, never nagbigay ng response ang exit program nung hinihingan sila ng comment about dito sa mga violations ni Brian Goldsby. After Reagan, Brian Goldsby took Reagan's silver Acura, yung kotse niya, to his girlfriend's house. Brian and his girlfriend went to a McDonald's together at 1:45 a.m. And ibinigay niya dito sa kanyang girlfriend yung nakuha niyang black Kate Spade purse kay Reagan and isa pang white na wallet as a gift. Brian later disposed of the gun and shell casings and binalak niya na sunugin yung kotse ni Reagan pero hindi siya nagtagumpay. Bago makidnap si Reagan, tenext niya yung kanyang tatay na si Toby saying that she would call him after she left work. However, nung hindi nakatanggap ng tawag si Toby from his daughter, they became worried, understandably. They spent the whole night texting and calling Reagan's phone, but she did not answer. And around 2 a.m., Reagan's phone went dead, nalobat. On the morning of February 9, her parents learned that she didn't attend her classes, which is very, very out of character from Reagan because excited na siya makagraduate and she values her education. A missing person report was filed and news of Reagan's disappearance was spread via social media. A day after nung nangyari kay Reagan, a park goer discovered her body and tumawag sila ng pulis. A tattoo and the necklace helped detectives to find out who the body belonged to. Reagan's body was later officially identified by her uncle na nakatira malapit doon sa park. A forensic pathologist later testified that 2 bullets were discovered from Reagan's head during an autopsy. Sinabi din nung pathologist na isa daw doon sa mga sugat na natamo ni Reagan was fired at close range, malapitan, which was supported by another forensic pathologist's testimony that her DNA was inside the barrel of the gun. So, nung nakita nga ng mga pulis yung kotse ni Reagan, of course, nag-investigate sila. Doon nga nila nakita yung cigarette butt and may nakita rin silang gas can, gaas, doon sa loob ng kotse ni Reagan. And, of course, automatically, alam na ng mga pulis na yung gas doesn't belong to Reagan because bakit siya maglalagay ng gas sa loob ng kotse niya, di ba? Detectives found that similar gas can na pinurchased the night of Reagan's murder and nakukuha sila ng picture ni Brian Goldsby na bumibili ng same, as in kaparehong-kapareho nung gas can na nakita sa kotse ni Reagan. Brian Goldsby's GPS bracelet also placed him in the locations where Reagan had been. Of course, na-trace ng mga pulis yun gamit yung cellphone ni Reagan. Doon sa street kung saan nakapark yung kotse ni Reagan, doon sa mga ATMs na pinuntahan nila, kasama na doon yung DNA ni Brian Goldsby doon sa cigarette butt and a rape kit performed on Reagan's body. Gunshot residue was also found on Brian Goldsby's clothing. So Brian was arrested on February 11 at around 4 a.m. and the trial began on March 5th, 2018. Brian Goldsby was convicted on all counts on March 13, 2018, which would have been Reagan's 23rd birthday. Actually, yung jury didn't agree to the conviction. 4 yung bumoto ng life imprisonment and 8 yung bumoto ng death. The judge sentenced Brian Goldsby to life in prison on March 21st, 2018. During ng sentencing, sinabi ng judge kay Brian Goldsby na his life was spared because of his upbringing. Yung history niya ng abuse, he was neglected and abused by his mother daw. Yet, Reagan's life wasn't. Ang sabi pa ng judge, quote-unquote, Reagan did nothing wrong whatsoever. And yet, she forfeited her life because of your background. You get spared because of your background and yet, she forfeited her life. Walang kasalanan si Reagan. Kumbaga kung paano lumaki si Brian, Reagan has nothing to do with it. After being sentenced to life in prison, he pleaded guilty to 6 robberies that occurred before Reagan's murder. Brian Goldsby is currently incarcerated at the Ohio State Penitentiary, a supermax prison in Youngstown. Reagan's family started the Reagan Tokes Memorial Foundation after her death. And itong foundation na to works to reward students with scholarships, teach self-defense, and promote legislation aimed at reducing crime. Reagan, who would have graduated from the Ohio State University with a degree in psychology in May 2017, was awarded a posthumous degree. On May 7, during Ohio State University's graduation ceremony, Reagan's parents and sister accepted the posthumous award.